Okay, so imagine this. Every Sunday, you're hanging out with your grandma. You're cooking together, making cookies, lasagna, her famous recipes. It's not a business. It's just your thing. But here's what you do. You write everything down in a notebook. Every ingredient. Every step. Grandma's little secrets in the margins. You've got this purple notebook full of recipes and you don't think anything of it. Then one day, you're scrolling TikTok and you see someone talking about how they make money from a newsletter. And you're like, wait, I have a whole notebook of content. What if I just shared it? So you do. You turn your notebook into a newsletter. You call it Baker Empire, which is a bold name when you've got 0 subscribers. You start posting cooking hooks on Facebook to drive people to sign up. At first, crickets. 30 subscribers. Half of them are family, but you keep going, every single day. And then 6 months in, one post goes viral. 10,000 shares. Suddenly you go from 100 subscribers to 5,000 in 2 weeks. 2 years later, 200,000 subscribers. Then you start filming yourself cooking and turn it into a YouTube series. Next up, a physical cookbook selling on Amazon. All because you wrote down what you were doing on Sundays with Grandma. Today's guest is Thea Baker, and she's about to show you how to turn any hobby into content, an audience, and a business. This is Tallie Talks. Grab a notebook, your empire starts there.
She's got a mind, she's got a spark, lighting up dreams from dawn to dark. Tallie talks, yeah, she's the voice, asking the questions, making the choice. Young hustlers rising, stories to tell, big ideas where passions dwell. Pull up a chair, grab your seat, let's talk the hustle, let's feel the beat. Tallie talks, yeah, Tallie talks, turning whispers into walks, dreaming big, take the shot. This is the place where dreams get called. Tallie talks, oh, Tallie talks, Tallie talks. Ooh, yeah.
What's up? What's up? What's up, moneymakers? Welcome back to Tallie Talks, where we prove that the best business ideas aren't found in boardrooms. They're found in your grandma's kitchen on a Sunday afternoon. I'm your host, Tallie Pennyworth, and today we've got a guest who turned a notebook full of recipes into 200,000 email subscribers. Y'all, meet Thea Baker, founder and CEO of Baker Empire. Thea, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Tallie. I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, so I gotta start with this, because it's such a perfect example of how businesses actually start. You weren't sitting in your room thinking, I'm gonna build an empire. You were just hanging out with your grandma on Sundays, right?
Yeah. Every Sunday, me and my grandma would cook together. It wasn't even supposed to be a thing. It was just our bonding time. We'd make cookies, casseroles, her famous lasagna, whatever she felt like teaching me that day.
So it was just for fun. When did it become more than that?
Honestly, it started with a notebook. After every cooking session, I'd write down the ingredients and the steps so I wouldn't forget how to make it. I had this purple notebook filled with recipes, some in my handwriting, some in Grandma's handwriting, when she'd take over and write notes in the margins.
Wait, so you were basically creating your own cookbook without even realizing it?
Exactly. And I didn't think anything of it. It was just my notebook. But then one day I'm scrolling through TikTok, and I see this girl talking about how she makes money from a newsletter. And I'm like, wait, I have a whole notebook of content. What if I just shared it?
Okay, that's the moment. That's when the light bulb went off.
Yeah. So I decided to turn my notebook into a digital newsletter. I called it Baker Empire, which, looking back, was kind of a bold name for a newsletter with 0 subscribers. But I liked how it sounded.
I love the confidence. So you've got the name, you've got the recipes. What did you do next? All right, moneymakers, quick break, but don't go anywhere because we're about to get into the good stuff. Real quick, if you're loving this episode, do me a favor. Take 2 seconds and share it with a friend who's always talking about making money. Send them the link, post it on your story, whatever. Because the more kids who hear this, the more kids who start building. And if you haven't already, hit that follow button so you don't miss next week's episode. Trust me, the guest we've got coming up is insane. Also, we want to hear your story. If you've started a business, or you're thinking about it, or you've got questions, DM us on Instagram at Tallie Talks Podcast. Who knows? Maybe you'll be my next guest. All right, enough from me. Let's get back to the episode.
I set up the newsletter on this platform called Behave, super easy to use. And then I started posting on Facebook, just hooks and snippets to get people interested.
Wait, Facebook? Not Instagram or TikTok?
I know. Everyone's like, TikTok is where it's at. But I noticed that a lot of moms and grandmas, people who actually cook, are on Facebook. So I went where my audience was.
That's so smart. You didn't follow the trend. You followed your audience. What kind of stuff were you posting?
I'd post things like, Grandma's secret ingredient for the fluffiest pancakes. Or, the one mistake you're making with chocolate chip cookies. Just hooks that made people curious. And at the end, I'd say, get the full recipe in my newsletter. Link in bio.
So you're using Facebook as a funnel to get people onto your email list. How long did it take before you started seeing results?
At first, crickets. I had like 30 subscribers, and half of them were family. But I kept posting. Every single day I'd share a new hook, a new tip, a new recipe teaser. And slowly it started growing. 10 subscribers, then 50, then 100.
What was the tipping point? When did it really take off?
About 6 months in, one of my posts went viral on Facebook. It was this simple post. Why does Grandma's food always taste better? Here's the science, and people went crazy. It got shared like 10,000 times.
10,000?
I know, my phone was blowing up. And all those shares turned into newsletter sign-ups. I went from 100 subscribers to 5,000 in like 2 weeks.
That's insane. So the viral post was the catalyst. What happened after that?
I realized I had something. Like people wanted this content. So I doubled down. I started emailing my list twice a week with new recipes, cooking tips, stories about my grandma. And I kept posting on Facebook to keep the funnel going.
And how long did it take to hit 200,000 subscribers?
About 2 years. It wasn't overnight. It was consistent posting, consistent emailing, and a few more viral moments sprinkled in. But the key was showing up every single week.
2 years of consistency. That's the part people don't want to hear, but it's the truth. Okay, so you've got 200,000 people on your email list. That's a whole audience. What did you do with it?
So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I've got their attention. How do I take this to the next level? And I realized people love to watch cooking, not just reading recipes. So I started recording me and Grandma cooking together.
You started a YouTube channel?
Yep. I had no idea what I was doing at first. I just set up my phone on the counter and hit record. The lighting was terrible, the audio was rough, but people loved it because it felt real. It was just me and Grandma goofing around in the kitchen.
So you weren't trying to be a professional YouTuber. You were just documenting what you were already doing.
Exactly. And that authenticity is what people connected with. But then I realized, if I want to grow this, I need to learn how to edit. So I taught myself on YouTube, watched tutorials, practiced cutting clips, adding music, making it more engaging.
You taught yourself video editing by watching YouTube videos about video editing. That's meta.
Right? But that's the beauty of it. Everything you need to learn is online for free. You just have to be willing to put in the time.
Okay, so now you've got the newsletter with 200,000 subscribers and a YouTube channel. How's the YouTube doing?
It's growing. We're at like 15,000 subscribers right now. Not huge, but it's steady. And the cool part is, the YouTube channel feeds the newsletter, and the newsletter feeds the YouTube channel. They support each other.
All right, moneymakers, this is the part you've been waiting for. We just heard an incredible story, right? But here's the thing. That story doesn't help you unless you can actually use it. So right now, my guest and I are going to brainstorm business ideas that you can start. We're talking specific, actionable, I could literally do this tomorrow type ideas. No fluff, no theory, just real businesses you can build. Grab a notebook, open your notes app, whatever. You're going to want to write these down because by the end of this section, you're going to have at least 3 business ideas you could start this weekend. Let's brainstorm. It's that flywheel again. Each platform makes the other stronger. So what's next? What's the big vision?
The dream is to turn all these recipes into a physical cookbook and sell it on Amazon. Like a real book that people can have in their kitchens. I want it to have Grandma's handwritten notes in the margins, photos of us cooking together. Make it feel personal.
Yo, I would buy that. That sounds amazing. And here's the thing. You've already got 200,000 people who trust you. If even 1% of them buy the book, that's 2,000 sales right out the gate.
That's the plan. And that's why building the audience first is so important. I'm not launching a book and hoping people find it. I'm launching it to people who already know and love the content.
That's the move right there. Build the audience, then monetize. Okay, let's get into the brainstorm section because I know people listening are like, how do I do this with my hobby? Thea, what's the framework here?
Okay, so here's the thing. Most people think you need some crazy unique idea to start a business, but you don't. You just need to document something you're already doing. For me, it was cooking with Grandma. For someone else, it could be literally anything.
So step 1 is, look at what you're already doing for fun. What are your hobbies?
Exactly. And here's the key. It doesn't have to be something you're the best at. You just have to be a little bit ahead of someone else. If you know how to solve Rubik's Cubes and someone else doesn't, you can teach them.
Okay, so let's make this practical. Let's say someone listening loves building Lego sets. How do they turn that into content?
Oh, good one. Okay, so first, start writing it down. Every time you build a set, write down tips, tricks, shortcuts. Document the process. That's your notebook moment.
So they're creating their own Lego building guide.
Exactly. Then turn that into a newsletter or a blog. Lego tips with your name. Share building hacks, review new sets, show time lapses, post hooks on social media like the one Lego trick that'll save you hours and drive people to your newsletter.
And then what? They start filming themselves building?
Yes, set up your phone, hit record, and just build. Talk through what you're doing. Make it a show. You don't need fancy equipment, just start. And as you get better, you can level up the editing, the lighting, all of it.
Okay, I love that. What's another example?
Let's say you're into drawing. Every time you draw, write down what you learned. Like, today I figured out how to shade realistic eyes. That's content. Start a newsletter called Sketch Sessions or something. Post your art on Instagram with captions like, here's how I went from stick figures to this, and link to your newsletter.
And then film yourself drawing and turn it into YouTube videos or TikToks.
Exactly. Or let's say you love organizing your room. Document it. Start a newsletter with organizing tips. Post before and afters on TikTok. Film yourself doing a closet makeover. Boom, you're a content creator.
See, this works for anything. The formula is always the same. Do the thing, write it down, share it online, film yourself doing it, build an audience. What's the hardest part about this process, Thea?
Honestly, staying consistent when nothing's happening. For the first 6 months, I felt like I was shouting into the void. I'd post and get 5 likes. I'd send a newsletter and 3 people would open it. It's discouraging.
So how'd you push through?
I just kept reminding myself. Every single person who's successful went through this phase. Nobody starts with 1 million followers. You have to earn it, 1 post at a time, 1 subscriber at a time. And I focused on the process, not the results.
That's huge. You can't control if something goes viral, but you can control showing up every day. What about the technical stuff? Like, how do you actually set up a newsletter?
Super easy. Platforms like Beehive, Substack, ConvertKit, they're all free to start. You literally just sign up, pick a name, and start writing. You don't need to know how to code or design. It's all drag and drop.
And for the YouTube side, what do you need to get started?
A phone. That's it. You don't need a fancy camera or a ring light on day one. Just prop your phone up and hit record. You can download free editing apps like CapCut or iMovie. The barrier to entry is so low now.
So there's really no excuse not to start. Okay, rapid fire tips. Thea, what's your number one piece of advice for someone who wants to turn their hobby into content?
Start documenting today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Open a notes app and write down what you did, what you learned, what worked. That's your content.
Love it. My tip. Don't wait until you're good enough. You'll learn by doing, not by waiting. What else?
Pick one platform to focus on at first. I chose Facebook because that's where my audience was. Don't try to be everywhere at once. You'll burn out. Master one, then expand.
Facts. And here's one from me. Think in hooks. Every post should make people curious enough to click. Here's the mistake you're making, or the one thing that changed everything. Curiosity drives clicks.
Oh, yes. And also, don't be afraid to sell. I was scared to monetize at first because I thought people would think I was greedy. But if you're providing value, people want to support you. Whether that's a paid newsletter, a course, a product, don't be shy about it.
100%. You're not being greedy. You're building a business. Okay, last question before we wrap. If you could go back and tell yourself one thing when you were just starting, what would it be?
I'd tell myself to start the YouTube channel sooner. I waited 2 years because I thought I needed to be perfect. But looking back, I could have been building that audience the whole time. So my advice is, don't wait. Start messy. You can always improve later.
Start messy, improve later. That needs to be on a t-shirt. Okay, where can people find you?
You can subscribe to Baker Empire newsletter. Just Google it. And check out the YouTube channel, same name. We post new cooking videos every week.
Amazing! Y'all heard it here. Thea Baker turned Sunday cooking sessions with Grandma into 200,000 email subscribers, a YouTube channel, and a future cookbook. Thea, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Tallie. This was so fun.
All right, moneymakers, here's the recap. Look at what you're already doing for fun. That's your content. Write it down in a notebook. That's your IP. Turn it into a newsletter or blog. That's your audience. Film yourself doing it. That's your show. Stay consistent even when nobody's watching. That's your character. And when you've built the audience, monetize it. That's your business. The biggest mistake people make is thinking they need a groundbreaking idea. You don't. You just need to document what you're already doing and share it with people who want to learn. Thea was just cooking with her grandma. That's IT. That's how it started. So look around. What are you already doing that someone else might want to learn? If you love this episode, tell a friend about Tallie Talks. And if you have a business story, hit me up. We want to hear it. Until next time, stay curious, stay hustling, and remember, your grandma's kitchen might just be your first office. This has been Tallie Talks. I'm Tallie Pennyworth. Now go document something. Seriously though, what did you do this weekend? Write it down. That's content.